It is now
Yes.
being recorded.
Welcome. Senior Living Options Seminar, another edition of the Ihara Team webinar series. So again, thank you for bringing up the Zoom chat instructions. If you are joining us through Zoom, make sure to open up that group chat. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into that box and we will make sure to answer your questions throughout the webinar. Where are you living? Where are you living? Hey, let's open this up to the audience, the Zoom audience. So where are you guys living at the moment? I am currently in our office in Kahala, but I am living out in Temple Valley. Yes, that is a commute every day.
It looks like you're actually on the beach there, Kaleo.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. I forgot. I'm not in the office. I'm on the beach. That's what I meant to say.
Cool.
Not sure which beach this
All
is,
right.
but I'm totally on the beach.
Karen's over in Aina, Newtown. Yeah, nice. Oh no,
Yeah,
Honolulu.
no. Karen's over in Honolulu.
That is one of my favorite beaches. Actually,
Oh,
we took a picture of that beach and it's on the wall at our house. All right, let's move forward. So,
all right, here are some of the things we are going to cover today. First, of course, senior living options. What are your options as time goes forward? The real estate market overview, how to go about downsizing and decluttering and the move. We know that this can be a huge undertaking and is a big part of making your decision. Also adding value to your home and how to make that smooth transition.
awesome. So hopefully that all, and what we'd also like to find out is if there's anything you'd like to learn today, please put that in the chat as well, because our goal today is to bring value to the audience in this area where we're looking to find solutions for living environments for our kupuna, our older adults, right? Well, so the first option is, what are they? One option is aging in place, right? A lot of folks just want to age in place. And you can do that. We're going to talk about aging in place. What also people are doing is downsizing to a smaller house or condo. Now, this demographic is a little younger. They're retirees. So let's say 55 to 65. Actually, one of our business partner and good friend, he's retiring sort of, and then he's going to be downsizing from his house to a condo if his wife agrees. But that's the intention, right? Because we realize we want to travel, we want to have freedom, we also want to have security, and we don't want to have to hassle with the house any longer. So we see a lot of retirees doing that. And then also adult residential care homes. Those are single family homes and residential communities that provide a care service to that individual. We'll talk more about that. And lastly, it's retirement communities. What are they? How much do they cost? What does life look like? We're going to talk all about that today. So when we talk about aging in place, a lot of it used to be family taking care of family. Well, we don't see as much of that today, right? We see husband and wives both working, sometimes more than one job. And it's hard to take care of our parents when we're taking care of ourselves, our family, our work, our kids' activities, and things like that. So over the years, there were companies that came into existence called home care companies. And there's another brand called home health care companies. These are two different types of industries that can come into the home to provide care. And lastly, there's adult day services. This is where you go out of your home into an environment where they have care, they have food, they have oversight, safety. You can even take naps there, that type of thing. These Pololo Chinese home, that kind of environment. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of these communities-based services out there in the community. And if you would like some, just let us know. We can guide you in that direction. So home care, what that is a company comes into the home. It's private care, right? And they provide services for you that you're going to need over time. Because over time, as we get older, what's going to happen is we're going to need care, right? Should we be blessed to live long enough, we're going to need some level of care. Well, that care normally comes in a couple areas. One is called personal care. Another word for personal care the technical term that is used in our industry is ADLs, activities of daily living, ADLs. And that's basically bathing, dressing, grooming, toileting, continence, mobility. See, because at some point, we're likely going to need some help, right? Should we be able to live long enough? So that personal care can come into the home and take care of it. They do very limited health care, meaning they'll check your vitals, they'll check your temperature, they'll make sure you take your medicine, but that's the extent of the medical side that they can provide. It's home care service, right? So the two biggest areas also that we're gonna need as we get older, and at some point maybe we shouldn't be driving or can't drive, is cooking and cleaning, right? So these companies will come in, they'll come in into your home and help you cook and clean, mobility, moving from your chair to your table, to the desk, to the couch, to the bed type of thing. And if you have to go to the doctor, they have transportation services to get medicine and go to the doctor appointments, right? So home care companies can come into the home should you want to age in place. Home health care companies is the same type of company. They do all those things that we talked about earlier, and they will also have some level of skilled service. And the reason why you'll need home health care is anytime you have an intrusion in your body, meaning anything that passes the skin, the derma. So either it's an IV or a tracheotomy or wound care. Typically, those are the types of home health care services that would have to come into the home. So most people will use home care services unless they get to a point where they need breathing. Anytime where there's an intrusion in your body and or breathing apparatuses that need to be managed, right? Now,
these providers are registered nurses?
Yes, thank you, correct. Yeah, they also have to be registered nurses, right? They're coming into the home according to the Department of Health. Now, Medicare does provide some level of reimbursement, but know that it is limited, right? You have to be homebound. It has to be prescribed by a physician, meaning your doctor has to say that you need home health care. And it only covers up to about 100 days per year per incident, right, per health event. And then also know that your long-term care company, should you have long-term care insurance, that's another thing. For those of you who have long-term care insurance, that service that you've been paying for, that insurance would cover Medicare, right? But you got to check with them to make sure there are limits that they can provide that reimbursement for. So please call them to find out what their limits are. The other thing to know about long-term care insurance is you want to let your family know what the insurance company's name is, the phone number, and your account number. And the reason for that is in the event you need that care, there's typically a 60 to 90-day waiting period before they start reimbursing, which means you're out of pocket. So if you got to pay $10,000 or $20,000 a month for care, right, and on an extreme basis, if you needed that, you wouldn't get reimbursed for maybe 90 days or more. So you want to start that as soon as possible so that your waiting period lapses faster, right? The other thing is you just want to make sure your family member knows where that information is, because if you need it, there's a good chance you're not going to be in your home. You'll likely be in a hospital at some point. So how much does that cost? Well, everything varies, right? But generally speaking, in our market, home care runs you about $24 to $30 an hour. Home health care, $35 to $75 an hour. And frankly, 24-hour care could really run you expensive, up to $20,000 a month. That's the cost of living in your home. At that point, your home is not the most financially feasible option, though there are clients that, money is no object, then you can stay there and know that there's an expense to doing that. How do you know when it's time to move? How do you know when it's time to move? Is your home too large now that the kids are gone? Maybe you have a 3, 4, 5-bedroom home, and it's so common that we get a call from an older adult saying, I'm not sure what to do. Where should I go? Could you come talk to me? So we go in and meet with them. And it's either a widow or a husband and wife, and they have a large home. They had a couple kids, and they're both gone. In fact, they've got grandkids. The kids aren't going to come home. they're not going to live in their room anymore, right? So their home ends up being too much work, right? It's just too big. Oh, and then it gets too much work to maintain. Right? Maybe the weeds are getting too big. Maybe the gutters are getting filled. Maybe the mango tree is getting a little too big. All these things are going to happen over time because as we get older, we don't have the physical energy to do it. Also, you shouldn't be doing those physical things to stay safe. But also finances, right? It costs money to do that oftentimes. Are you tired of cooking and cleaning? You know, that's one of the things that's going to start happening over time because, you know, when we have a, think about it, right? We all are now able-bodied. We can go out to the store and buy food, bring it home and cook it, plan all that out, right? Well, at some point, moving out of the home will be tough. So that means getting raw goods are going to be tough, and then the timing to do it, and then, you know, the effort and so forth. We have a lot of our older clients that, not a lot, but we have a number of them that, you know, when our memory starts deteriorating, I have gone to a number of homes that you go in and you see all the knobs pulled off the oven, the stove. There's a reason for that, right? We all know that. Because sometimes it could be dangerous, right? As we get older, cooking and leaving the stove on, things like that. Does your home have too many steps? You know, some of our clients have bought homes many, many years ago. In fact, a classic example was a cute lady, Mrs. Asato. She was about, you know, about 4 foot something, and sweetest lady ever. She lived up on a hill, and she had a beautiful home. And she was really healthy. And I asked her one day, what keeps you so healthy? And she says, oh, I got 78 steps to get to my house, Dad. Get me healthy and safe. But right after that, she says to me, but here's what you don't know, Dad. She says, what you don't know is my neighbor, 2 doors down, same age as me, we moved in around the same time. She fell on her steps and she broke her hip. And she never, ever saw her house again. And Mrs. Asato said to me, she looked me in the eye, says, that's not going to be me. Now, this is a woman that was smart, that was progressive, you know, because you have a choice to be proactive or reactive, right? And this lady was proactive. This lady said, you know, I know things can happen as I get older. Accidents grow, and the stairs are getting harder for me. Carrying things up the stairs, balance. She said, no, I'm going to go to a retirement community where I have care and there's no steps. Are you living alone and concerned about security? You see, that's how this whole 5 slides came about. Because a lady called me one day, and this is probably about, I don't know, about 8, 10 years ago. And she said to me, how do I know when it's time to move? And I go, I don't know how to answer that question because I don't know you, right? And so I started asking her some questions. I go, so tell me about your life. You know, do you have any kids? She said, yeah, I got a couple of kids. I go, great, right? Do you spend much time with them? She said, yeah, they come over every once in a while. I said, great. And she said, but I don't know what to do. I said, well, here's what we can do. What we can do is I can come in and talk to you and your family, and we can just have a chat. We can talk about what the options are. We can discuss what your challenges are, maybe what your goals are. And she said, I'd like that. So I went over to her house one day, and we're sitting around a round table and out in her lanai, and I look at the kids who are just a little bit older than me, not much. And I said to them, you guys know why we're here today? And she says, they don't know. Mom just said that she wanted us to come and talk to you. I said to them, well, we're here today because your mom called me, and she said that Dad passed away about 6 months ago, and she's been living in this big house by herself. And Mom told me that she gets up at night because she hears noises. She hears noises on the property because it's a big lot, and it's a big house, and she was concerned. She gets scared. So she doesn't sleep when she hears these noises. That means during the day she's tired, which means during the day she can't do the normal things she's normal. Bottom line is her life has changed upside down, and it just wasn't comfortable or good for her any longer. So I said to them, well, you know, there's a number of choices to make. You know, you have options. You have a house here, so you could stay here. And what if you brought care into the home? You know, we can coordinate that for you. We can bring care into the home and just provide that service, the care for you that you need to make you feel safe. And she says, I don't know if I want family in my house. And then she says, well, then I said to the kids, I go, well, maybe one of you guys can stay overnight. You should have seen them all. They all tried to disappear. They're like going away, like, don't call me because I'm busy. I have my own job. I got my kids. I coach soccer. There's no way I can stay overnight. Well, you don't really blame them, do you? They do have their own life. She then said to me, you know what, where else could I go? And so we went through the whole process, kind of like what we're doing today, in person. And we did that, and we just talked about the other options. Long story short, we narrowed it down to 3, down to 1. We took her on a tour. We helped her move in. We helped her clear out her house. We helped her sell her house. And it was a breeze for her. And she is now very, very happy. Right? And that's one of the things that will show up is as we get older, you know, you're going to have a choice to make. Right? You're going to be either reacting to something that shows up in your life, or you're going to be proactive and you're going to prevent some of those things from showing up until later. Here's the hardest one. Would you like to make your own decisions about where and when your next move will be? See, there's 2 paths to take, and we see it all the time. You know, we've helped over almost 1,000 families, 1,100 families, close real estate, but we've helped them, hundreds and hundreds of them go through this process, and they all have only two approaches to it. Either they're going to be proactive or they're going to be reactive, right? So the reactive person says, I'm good, and I'm not ready to move. I'm too young. I like my house. You know, I'm just not going to move, right? And then I get a phone call saying, my husband passed away, or I can't do the stairs anymore, or the son or daughter calls and says, you know, mom really shouldn't stay home anymore. She left the stove on, or they banged the car. I hear these stories week after week after week. Right? That's a reactive person. That person that's going to only do something when life shows up. Now, what happens in those cases? Well, I can tell you because I see it and I experience it, that the reactive person adds a lot of stress to their life because they're reacting and they have to make a quick decision about a life change, which is very stressful, very, very stressful, especially if you lived in your home for 20 to 60 years or 80 years, whatever that is. So it's extremely stressful, not only on the individual, but guess what? Everybody that you love, that you spend time with, is on your journey with you, meaning they're just as stressed because they're trying to figure stuff out. Then you got to figure, okay, where do I go and how do I get there? And now you're rushing to make these decisions. You haven't had time really to think this through well, because sometimes that person's in a hospital, right? Sometimes it's too late. Well, the proactive person, they're saying, you know, I'm getting older, I can feel it in my knees, you know, I'm getting a little bit more forgetful, you know, I'm taking a lot of medicine, sometimes I lose my balance. Maybe I should be someplace where it's safer, that when all these things really show up, because I'm only seeing signs of it today, but when they really show up, I'm going to get help. And I'm not going to have to burden anybody. I'm not going to burden my family. I'm not going to burden, I want to have care, yet I don't want to put a burden on people. That's the proactive person. And that person takes steps forward and they do it on their terms. They make the move when they want to. They do it when they're healthy, when they're of sound mind and body and spirit. They're doing this on their own because they know it's the good thing to do. That person doesn't have as much stress.
Yeah, Dan.
Doesn't really.
Do you remember the Kents? Do you remember the Kents? They were a great example of this, right?
Yeah.
The proactive versus reactive person.
Right.
And although we had built a relationship like 3 years prior, once they finally made the move, we had such cooperative buyers, but what was really tough for them was just going through the entire process of moving because their health was catching up to them. You know, so what is usually typically an easy process just became very burdensome because they had waited and their health was deteriorating. That was really, really, really tough on them, and then tough on everyone around them.
It was really hard. You know, I think it was 3 or 5 years earlier. They actually came to one of our seminars, right? And they said, yeah, I'm going to do this, and do this. And they just just waited too long. And then at the very end, the husband has surgery. Obviously, that's going to impact stress, right? They got to move. That's going to add stress. Then they had to go to find a place to move to, that which is on the mainland. That all happened in a very short time period. And frankly, it's just not healthy to have so much stress in your life, right? Especially as we get older. We need to remove stress. And you're not going to do that by reacting to a situation. You'll do that by being proactive. The other thing that real briefly I'll talk about, if you don't know what the Office of Public Guardian is, and the Office of Public Guardian is designed to take care of people who cannot take care of themselves. So that's why this question came out, because over a decade ago, they started calling us to say, we need some help with these people. And here's what the scenario is. You're a neighbor, you've known her for a long time, we'll call her Mrs. Wong, you see her all the time. One day you don't see her, and you think maybe she's sick. The next day you get up, you go to work, you say, wait, that's 2 newspapers on our door, there's a problem. So you go and you knock on her door, you don't get an answer. You're worried now. You hear the TV on, you see her car home, you know she's home. She's not answering the door. Now you're frightened. You call the police will come, they're gonna do the same exact thing until they don't get a response, they're gonna break the door down to get to her. Most of the time she's on the ground. Some of the time it's a little too late. And she's expired. And they're calling us because they need to take care of this individual that went to the hospital and then is now in a care home and will never go back home, because that person is then proven to the state of Hawaii that she cannot take care of herself and she has no other guardians. So the Office of Public Guardian becomes the guardian to take care of their health and medical affairs. Then they assign a conservator to take care of their legal and financial affairs to take care of this person. Yeah. Those are really tough for us. I mean, that's probably the hardest part of our job, is going into a home where this was a reactive situation. And that's why we're talking about it, because we see how dark that reactive side is. We see how bright and positive the proactive side is. And all we're saying to the public is, you have a choice to make. It's your choice. Nobody can make that for you. You can either be proactive or reactive, completely your choice. Yeah. So what a lot of folks are doing is downsizing to a smaller house. And what it does is what they're doing is they bought a house, it grew in equity, they're selling it because it's a better use of that asset, right? You're taking an asset that grew, and now if it's owner occupied, you get $500,000 tax-free money out of that, right? You put that into another investment, or you buy something smaller. It's just a lot less stress and more manageable. So there's a bunch of retirement communities we want to talk about. Hey, Carrie, this is not moving actually on my screen. 5 retirement communities. These are all called month-to-month rentals. So month-to-month rentals means you can go in and you can move out, and there's no large entry fee. That one over there, the screen up there. But the Pohainani, it sits on the windward side. It is a beautiful environment that sits out in Kaneohe, vertical living, older community, though it sits in the Henry Jeanette Weinberg community, which is, they have independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, all the way to hospice on the same campus, right? They have a vertical living independent building, and then they have cottages around the perimeter, then they have assisted and skilled nursing in the back, okay? So that's one community that we find people who live and spend a lot of time in the windward side, they really like Pohainani, just because of the environment. Kalakaua Gardens is the newest in town. Now, that sits on Kalakaua Avenue, Malka Kapiolani Boulevard. It's the one with the blue glass, greenish glass windows. They have studios and 1-bedrooms there. And they have a little different model because it's a building. What they have is all the units are around the perimeter. So every unit has windows, right? In the middle is kind of like a living room. And the living room is divided in half. So there's like 2 living rooms in the middle, where it could be community spaces, there's TVs, couches, game things, all on every floor. And then there's space below as well. So people like that because of location. Easy to walk to Don Quixote, Alamana Park, things like that. Holiday Retirement Community is the largest retirement community in Hawaii in campus size. I think it sits on like 36 acres or so back in Hawaii Kai. And they have studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, even 3 bedroom condos and single family attached homes that get as large as 1,600 square feet. These are big spaces with your own enclosed garage, backyard. That community has the most options of spaces, and that community is the largest spaces you're going to find. If you're looking for interior space, that would be the best option. Sitting out in Hawaii Kai. Ilima and Lehano, they sit out in Kapolei. It's the newest of its kind out there. They have 84 units. They have a memory care wing on a floor. And here's an interesting thing that I found out. We've been working with them for over a decade. And this is before they dug dirt, right, before they built it. They called us, we were working with them, we did seminars for them. Long story short, they were going to do a CCRC model. They turned it to a month-to-month rental because they couldn't collect enough money, finances. And when they came and hit the market, it took a long time to fill up. In fact, they didn't get to close to 90% for, I would say, almost a year, right? Here's what's interesting though. In the first couple months, memory care was 100% full. Memory care was 100% full in the beginning, while independent living was not. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is that was a big aha for me. The aha was there's not enough spaces for memory care. We don't have enough beds here in our market to support all of us that are getting forgetful, myself included. I mean, I'm seriously, we're living longer, right? We're living longer, our bodies are lasting longer, yet there's nothing that helps this, our mind. We're responsible for this. The way most people and doctors tell us to do that is with engagement, with cerebral stimulation, right? Cerebral stimulation is where we have activities, there's dialogue, there's audio, visual, tactical engagement for the individual versus just living alone at home. Okay. What we've found is that many people who are living alone, doctors are telling us that there's a greater chance of early decline of memory if you're alone at home. So if you know somebody, please make sure they're actively engaged on a daily basis with folks that can help them. And the last one is Plaza. Plaza is the largest, the largest number of retirement community locations on the market. They started in Makiki, right off Ward Avenue. Then they built one in Mililani Mauka. They built one in Pearl City. They built one in Waikiki. They built one in Red Hill. Red Hill also, and they built one in Kaneohe. We have clients in all of these communities, right? So if you have a question of what does that look like there, how does it feel, how's the food, can I talk to somebody there? All you gotta do is let us know, and we can connect you to the right people. We can likely get you a tour and maybe even a lunch to test the food out, because that's important. I would always test the food out if you're serious, because that's the food you're gonna be enjoying during your time there. So month-to-month rentals, they range dramatically from $3,450 to $10,000 a month, right? Depending on how big these spaces are, how much they cost will vary, right? Now, the thing that you want to know about month-to-month rentals is there's no large entry fees. So you just pay your first month's rent, which is like a community fee they call, and then your first month's rent. And then you move in. If you don't like it in a couple months, you can move out. Right? There's no strings attached at that point. That's why it's called a month-to-month rental. Now, most are going to have assisted living. They have different various levels of assisted living. So depending on what your needs are, we should probably talk about that and find the one that best fits. And they do not have skilled nursing that's provided by the community. So there's a myth out in the industry that says if you go to a month-to-month rental, oh, if you need help, they're going to kick you out. That's not necessarily true. What they'll say is if you need help, if you get to a skilled nursing level that they're not licensed by the Department of Health to provide that service, there's another company on their campus that can. And you just hire those folks that can bring care into your unit. Or you can bring your own private person into your unit. So the myth is they're going to kick you out. That may not be true. as long as you can afford care, and they'll coordinate that for you as well. I mean, if you need extra care, they're gonna bring people in for you to. If you say I want to stay here, they're gonna allow you to stay there. Now, provides all your meals, your security, your housekeeping, pretty much everything you need as we get older. Even transportation to the doctor, to the mall, things like that. What do you get? Well, you get 3 meals a day, right? And that's what's really good. And they're nutritious meals a day, meaning there's not too much salt. You know, salt's not good for inflammation, right? If we were to go out and eat every day, and everybody likes to go out and eat, right? If we were to go out and eat every day, that's probably not the healthiest food, right? So know that what we put into our bodies, the food and nutrition that we put into our bodies will matter how we are physically, but also mentally. 24-hour security. Never have to worry about somebody knocking on your door that shouldn't be, right? All your maintenance repairs are gone. There are no issues any longer, right? And all your utilities are covered except your landline. And the good thing is they have all these activities. This is where that cerebral stimulation really works, where you've got all these activities and programs and entertainment and they've got the gym, they've got the libraries. The thing about that is when you go to a retirement community, you will talk to people 2 to 3 times a day, depending on how often you go down for your meals, right? And so that's a benefit of being in a retirement community, physically, mentally, as well as spiritually.
Okay. I think the cool story that I hear from some of our clients that we've helped move into some of these retirement communities is that they've made a lot of new friends.
Yeah.
You know, they've joined these activity groups. So one of our clients was saying, oh, he plays poker with a group of guys every day. You know, he joined a poker club, and his wife
yeah, and you see, you can't do that at home.
Yeah. No, it's you socialize with so many more people, and I think it's great to really have people around you, you know.
Yeah,
I think a good look at it. I think a good look at it too, Dan. I don't know if anybody on the Zoom wants to give us a thumbs up, or on Facebook as well. Who's been on a cruise before?
Anybody been on a cruise?
Who's been on a cruise before? It sounds like
I have.
This is a resort style, right? Cruise living, activities, fitness, socialization. You know, so going back to why you would do it, you know, the Vandenberg Ohana is on Facebook, and yes, I'm tired of cooking and cleaning, and you know, this is taking care of everything for you.
It's definitely an amazing opportunity for people to improve the quality of life from where it is to where it could be, right? You know, the cruise ship, I asked that question. Thanks, Carrie, for bringing that up, because I ask that question all the time in our seminars, and everyone's once I say cruise, they all smile. Say, why do you smile for? What's so good about it? So, well, you get good food, and they clean for you, and I can do whatever I want. Well, it sounds like a retirement community. Anyways, great option. Now, here's another option. It's called a CCRC, Continuing Care Retirement Communities. In our industry, all over the country, they have these 2 models, month-to-month rentals and the CCRC. Now, there's only 3 of them here in our market. Kahala Nui, when they came into town in the 90s, they set the bar for luxury living. If you are interested in Kahala Nui, I would recommend you go visit Darren over there, a friend of mine, and he can give you a tour and let you know how long the waiting list is. To my knowledge, it's about 3 to 5 years of a waiting list. You put $10,000 down. And then once they call you, you have to pay them all the money. Right? And the entry fee is right there. So $585 on the smallest unit to $1.4 on the largest unit as an entry fee. And then once you pay that, then you pay a monthly fee of just about $3,500 to almost $9,000, right, a month. Arcadia, on the other side, is the oldest retirement community in Hawaii. They're sitting right on Punahou. They're about $193 to $500 of the entry fee. They put in $8 million of renovations a number of years ago. I think it was, it was 7 years ago they did that. Beautiful environment right in town. very convenient. And then 15 Craigside is a sister company. They're in Nuuanu. So vertical living sits right next to Nuuanu Memorial. So some people some people don't like that, to be honest with you. Some people think it's very convenient, whatever convenient could look like. Anyways, but yeah, those are the sister companies. I was joking. We have family members there. I meant visiting to the retirement, to the Nuuanu. So Arcadia and 15 Craigside are sister companies. If you want to try both of those, you actually can, because there's one application and there's one comptroller that will review your financial ability to move in. Speaking of which, the difference between a CCRC and a month-to-month rental is they give you a life care agreement. What that means is they promise to take care of you for life, even if you run out of money. Even if you run out of money. Now, they're pretty smart. They have a model there that they're going to do a financial review to make sure you don't run out of money, right? And that's why nobody really does, because they got pre-approved that way. Now, there's different requirements as to what that looks like regarding how much finances you need. Each one's a little different. Generally speaking, it's a minimum of $2 for every dollar, $2 of assets for every dollar of entry fee at a minimum. And then there's other thresholds of income as well, right? Because basically, while they say they're going to take care of you for life, even if you run out of money, they know you're not going to do that, okay? Because there's a clause in there that says you cannot willfully give your money away, and they will do a financial review every year to make sure that didn't happen. Right? The good news about that weekly financial review is that then you have another set of eyes to protect you should there be any elder financial abuse, right? I think that's a good thing. They're also going to do health benchmarks. So know that these communities, these CCRC communities, Arcadia, 15 Craigside, Kahala Nui, they're going to take care of you for life. That means if you try to get in and you're not ambulatory, there's a good chance you may not get in. See, because they've already promised everybody else to take care of them. So you can't slide into the very limited assisted and skilled nursing space they have available. Know that that's those, like at 15 Craigside, it's the second floor, I believe, the entire floor, but there's not that many beds. Right? In that building, there's 180 units there, of which I think there was only 24 skilled nursing beds, assisted living beds. So you have to be healthy to move in. Bottom line is, if you're thinking of a CCRC model, sooner is better than later, because you're going to enjoy it longer. You pay that large entry fee anyways, you guys will enjoy it longer, right? And you can get in now and have care later when you need it, because if you wait and you need care later and you try to get in, you're likely not going to make it in. And then this opportunity has vaporized, it's gone. You've lost the opportunity. So be mindful of the future. One of the things I share with folks is, you know, a lot of folks will look down into today, right? Today, this is how I am. I'm good. I go to my friends at McDonald's every day and I have my routine. I'm good. Everything's fine. Then there are people that look back in the past and say, this is the old days. I used to do this. I used to do that. And this is who I was. And that's really common, right? These two scenarios are really common. In fact, majority of people are like that. Very few people will look to the future. But that's where we got to look, right? Because we're not going back in time. We're going to live forward in time, right? So what is the next 5 years going to look for me? 10 years. What is that going to look like? And when that shows up, how does that impact everybody else in my life? How does that work, right? I can tell you that as we decline, it will impact everybody that you love. Because they love you, right? They want to take care. It's just how the world works. It's how families are. And just know that that's going to show up. Right? So our suggestion is we always want to look forward, because we have to. That's where we're going to go, right? And that's why we say to people, if you want to be proactive, you're going to look forward. So what is your life going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. What does that look like when you're 80, right? We need to start thinking about that because it's going to have an impact on others around us, right? People we love. So if you move out, what do you do with your house? Some will rent it, some will pass it to a family member, or some will sell it, right? Very few will rent it, mainly because and when we get to older adults, they just want to simplify life. They don't want to complicate it. Although if they want to rent it, we have a property management firm as well, so we help them rent it if they don't want to sell it. Some will want to pass it on to a family member, and I say be very careful if you're thinking of doing so. If my mom passed her property on to me today, my mom's 90 this year. When my mom passes her property on to me today, if she did, and she bought it at $300,000, I have now absorbed her cost basis of $300,000. So at some point in my life when I want to sell it, let's say it's worth $900,000, the $600,000 gain, I'm responsible to pay the tax on that because she gave it to me while she's alive. You don't want that. If you like your family, keep it in your trust, and upon your demise, your trust will dictate that the funds will go to that particular person at a stepped up cost basis with zero capital gains tax. Zero capital gains tax, okay? As long as that's done not too far long after passing. Most are selling their own because they just want to simplify their life.
Hey Dan, we have a quick question from Kay. She's wondering if you know the approximate square footage of the one-bedroom units at Arcadia. Would you happen to know that?
One-bedroom units on Arcadia, I don't offhand. No.
Okay.
I know the studios were small. The studios were 400 maybe, 400. I can't recall. I can get that too, though. We can get that.
Yeah, we can get back to you on
We
that.
have it in our files. We have their floor plans. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make sure we get that to Kate.
Yeah, we'll get that to you. All right. What are the biggest real estate challenges seniors face? Oh, yeah. A few of them. What do you think, Dan? What are the biggest challenges?
Well, usually there's two challenges people have when we see them. Again, we've done this for 15 years. The first challenge is I know my house isn't the best place for me, and I know in the future I shouldn't be here. It's okay now, but I shouldn't be here in the future. Where do I go? Right? So that's the first challenge, identifying where the next home is going to be. The second challenge is, how do I get there? Meaning, how do I leave my house with all my stuff? Right? I got, our oldest client has 89 years old of stuff, right? How do I clear that out when I'm 89 years old, right? So we started a company called Senior Move Managers where we help people downsize, declutter, and move. And that's all part of that complete solution. But those are the two biggest challenges that we see. Where do I go? And what do I do with my stuff? The third challenge is, how do I pay for it? Well, usually they pay for it from the funds from the house. That's what usually is. They'll have either a long-term care plan or their home or both to fund that kind of lifestyle. And again, it's not for everybody. This is definitely not for everybody. So the question is it a good time to sell? Well, if we've owned a home for 10 years or more, it's greatly appreciated. This new recession, it's here. And we'll talk more about the market in a minute. Right now we have extremely low interest rates, like 3.25 for owner-occupant homes for 30 years. Right? And then also we have a very low inventory. So during COVID, we brought on 1 to 3 listings a week, and we're busy. Like these go into escrow, right, Khalil? I mean, there's high demand out there.
Yeah.
Like we just met with our client today. We have 3 offers on one of our listings.
Yeah.
Right? That just hit the market, right? So there's a lot of activity out there.
Oh, this is a good question.
So what do you think prices are going to do over the next few years? Yeah. So what do we guys think, guys? Is it going up or down or sideways?
Yeah, what does
the
audience think? Go ahead and try and type that into the chat box, and we'll kind of go over it as well.
So here's the market. this is real data that goes all the way back to 1987. Right? And you can see that after every peak of the market, so 1990 was a peak of the market. What happened after the peak of the market? Well, it goes down, right? After every peak, there's a drop. Now, then it leveled off, then it dipped a little bit more. So the peak of 1990, if you were to sell at the peak of 1990 or not, if you didn't sell at the peak of 1990, you would have to wait 14 years. You have to get to 2004, was that right? Yeah, 14 years, 2004 to get to the same sale price, right? And the next cycle, 2007, it took to 2014 to get to that same value. That took 7 years. So we had two recessionary time periods. One was 14 years, one was 7 years. What's the next one gonna be? I don't know. If I had to guess, as you can see in the chart, we already started taking a bit of a dip, and it's kind of up and down, but essentially you can see that there's a downward slide in the values, right? And that's going to continue happening. When people ask me if they're thinking, should I sell now or later, I would say if you don't have to sell, don't sell. If you're thinking of selling in the next few years, time's not your friend. You're likely going to get less over time because we know the market's going to take a slide, level off, and then go up. How long is that going to take? Safely, 7 to 10 years, right, for it to recover, right? So if you can wait beyond 10 years, yeah, then hold on to it. Like we have a couple of properties, we're not going to sell them because we're going to hold on to it for beyond 10 years. But if I was in a situation where I'm trying to downsize or I'm trying to find another life or another living, and I'm thinking of selling my house, sooner is better than later, because the data shows that time's not going to be our friend, not in the near term. In the long term, you go 20 years, we grow 4 to 5%, right? It's just this part of the market, we're on a bit of a slide, a bit of a decline in the market. Think about this, guys. We used to have 30,000 people show up on our island every single day. We got 1,000 now. We don't have hotels. We don't have restaurants. Nobody's working. How can the market actually go up? And honestly, we have not seen the worst in the market yet. In fact, we haven't seen what is happening because the forbearance challenges, programs that are out there are only now getting enrolled, right? And they're going to expire probably end of this year, early of next. And that's when the real inventory will start picking up. Yeah. Next year, you're going to see a larger growth of inventory, mainly because of default or failure to be able to cover their mortgage because, 37% are unemployed. And some of these folks unfortunately have mortgages. And the smart ones are going to get out sooner than later and pay to get out, actually. Some of them are upside down on payments. We have a number of clients that are selling now because they're military, because they have to. But when they see this chart, they're willing to pay $12,000 to get out of the house to pay to sell it versus $20,000 later. Right? And then having a loss every month that they're holding the property because they're no longer on the island. Right? So again, if you're thinking of selling, sooner is better than later. We can show you some data and we can show you some trends about your market. All right, so we're gonna run out of time, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. If you have to kick out in 2 minutes, I totally understand. This will be on a recording. If you wanna hang on till the end, we've got a couple more slides we're gonna go through. But my apologies, it was totally my fault for spilling coffee on my computer. It made us late today. Okay, so before you sell, one of the things we talk about is taxes. And the reason is we have the holistic approach to the person. We want to make sure that you understand what your tax ramifications are. Should you sell your home, are you liable for any taxes, right? So the state and federal governments are saying that if you live in your home 2 out of the last 5 years, that's a primary residence. And if it's a primary residence, the government's going to give you $250,000 of tax-free gain with zero tax, $500,000 if it's husband and wife living on the property on title. Okay, so imagine being able to take $500,000 out of an asset that you sell with zero tax. There's no other assets you own today that you can do that. Anything else that you own, you're going to be charged capital gains tax, right? At this point, this law is still on the books today. I don't know how long it's going to be on the books with this president or the next president. I don't know. I can tell you though, as our government needs more money, where do you think they're going to go to get more tax money? My guess is they're going to go to people who made money. And I don't know how long this law is going to be in place, right? I don't know. But I'm worried that, I don't know, that's not going to be here forever is my guess. I don't know. If you're thinking of selling and you're living in the home, this law applies. You can take $500,000 out tax-free. The rest of that, you'll be charged capital gains tax. And or if you have an investment property, something you did not live in 2 out of the last 5 years, you're going to be charged long-term capital gains taxes at 7.25% at the state level and up to 20% at the federal level, right? And if your adjusted gross income is greater than $400,000, you add another 3.8% on top of that. Yeah, pretty significant, right? Pretty significant. You know, you could, if you're in a high tax bracket, it could be close to 30%. If you're in a low tax bracket, it could be closer to, you know, less than 20%. It just depends. Right, on your situation. So what we always recommend when we meet our clients is before you sell, I'm going to tell them, here's what I think we can sell it for. Now you go talk to your accountant to see what your capital gains taxes are. And you got to be prepared for that. We had the same conversation yesterday with one of our clients that did not know that they needed to save money to pay this tax. And fortunately, they had a good gain. The capital gains tax is more like $60,000. But if we didn't have that conversation, she probably would have spent all the $60,000 and next tax year, they goes, oh no, H&R Block told me I need to pay this tax. Okay. Yeah, not a good thing. So please have a conversation with your CPA or a tax advisor. Okay, so, you know, you lived in a home a long time, you collected a few things, you get stuck and you get overwhelmed. And now I don't want to move because I can't move. I don't have ability to move because of my stuff. I can't leave my stuff. And my stuff can't leave me. There was a guy we had once that said, you know, I want to move, but I can't. I said, oh, how come? I said, because I've never done it before. I said, oh. So what if we took everything you wanted, put it in your new home, set it up, and take care of everything else for you? He goes, you can do that? But yeah, absolutely. That's what we do. And he goes, when can you do this? Because I want to move in, right? So we started a company called Senior Move Managers in Declutter Hawaii 10 years ago. We are the only company of its kind here that's part of the National Association of Senior Move Managers. Google us. At NASM, it's a weird acronym. National Association of Senior Move Managers. 10 years ago we started, we helped close to 800 families transition life. So you can imagine we got a little bit better at it over time, right? What we do is we help people downsize, declutter, move into retirement communities, do estate clearouts. We work with a lot of trust companies, a lot of trustees, and also aging in place. We also help there as well. So this company, really what we do is we plan, schedule, coordinate all the aspects of the move. Right? We help you downsize and declutter and help you decide what you're going to take. You see, because we do this all the time. We know what size furniture fits. We know where people place them because there's a finite number of floor plans here in our market. And chances are we probably have a copy of that floor plan because we have clients that have used it, right? The big part is we help you sort through your things, right? Because how do I know what to take? What should I take? So yesterday we were in a home of an older adult, and we went through this entire process about what do I take to move in? Will it fit? You see each one of those blocks on the screen, that's 1 square foot. Then what we do is we measure the furniture and we place it on that drawing. Now we know exactly how much space we have. You see, because of our training, we know that we want to have a minimum of 3 feet of walking space. And the reason for that is in the event that we need a walker, you need 3 feet to fit the walker. Now, if it's in a bathroom, you notice the bathrooms in retirement communities, you actually need closer to 8 to 9 feet, because if you're in a wheelchair, you got to turn and move, right? So you need that radius to turn. So things like that, these are all things that we have to, this is the world we live in, where we prepare you for what you're going to need in the future, right? Or may need. And then we just help you remove everything from the property, right? Under the crawl space of the house, in the attic, everywhere in the house, because when you sell a home or rent it, the tenant or buyer does not want your stuff there. Right? And then we create a floor plan of your new home, and we set it up. And we schedule and oversee the packing, moving, and even unpacking of everything in the home. And then we set it up. So imagine we work with our clients for days to weeks to months, almost sometimes years. We'll work with a client anywhere from 4 hours a day to 8 hours a day, and every day to 1 day a week to every day. So it just depends on the individual. Every one of our agreements where we work with our clients are customized for that individual. There's no cookie cutter model here. Everything is customized. So imagine you sleeping in your room, and then the day of the move, everything is packed, right? We know we got a floor plan, we know where everything's gonna go. The physical movers come in, they take the things, put it in the big truck, they take it to your unit, they drop it off there, they leave, right? Movers don't set things up, they move, right? We're not just movers, right? We'll go there, follow the movers, make sure it gets placed in the right place, make sure everything gets put away, your spoons and forks are put away, your toiletries are put away, your pictures are on the wall, right? Your clock is set up, your TV is set up, your bed's made, everything is taken care of. By 4 o'clock that day or 4:30, everything is done, and we remove all the packing supplies. That's the complete solution for an older adult who's trying to transition, doesn't know where to go, doesn't know how much it costs, and how to get there, and how do I set it up so that I'm not living in boxes. And that's the complete solution. So if there's any questions on that, let me know.
Quick question, Dan, from Kay. Maybe you can help to answer this.
Yeah.
She's saying that her home is owned by herself and her sister. This is Kay.
Yeah.
And would the capital gains apply to the two of them? However, Kay is the only one, that's her primary residence, not her sister's.
Yeah, no, this is only a primary residence exemption. So you get that $250,000, but your sister doesn't, unfortunately. See, because she owns it as an investment because she does not reside there. What the IRS is looking at is where's your primary residence, because you're only allowed really one primary residence, right, that they're willing to give you. So for her, what she's going to want to do is she's going to want to do a 1031 exchange to defer her capital gains tax. Right. So if the asset got sold, you can take your portion, go to a retirement community. She can take her portion and buy an investment property that would fund her future care and or provide an opportunity for her family. Right. So that's a whole legacy. You should have your sister follow us on the legacy 1031 exchange class, because we have a lot of solutions for that type of situation. Protecting valuables. This is a fun picture. I love looking at this picture, Khalil. What is that? That's about $16,000 of cash. Not mine, obviously. Wish I had it. Yeah, I wish that was mine. No, we found that in a house that belonged to a client that basically handed us the keys and said, I'm done. We looked at everything, throw everything away. And this was found in a black bag, in a bag, under a drawer. We found $18,000 of gold bars sitting in an old litter box, right? We found a lot of different things that have value. Our goal is, and our people are trained to, this stuff is not ours. It belongs to the owner. So anything of value goes back to the owner, even cash, right? Even cash. So making a smooth transition, as I said earlier, we set up and organize your new home, make sure the furniture is in the right place, your bed's made, your pictures, your clock, all your electronics are connected. And then we remove all the packing supplies. Then you're living in the model home you designed, which is kind of cool, with no stress. This is our senior management team. My two nieces there in the middle. Cynthia in the pink is our operations manager, and she is like the biggest heart and compassionate person you're going to find. My oldest sister, so I'm the youngest of 6. My oldest sister, who took care of all of us, that's her daughter. So she's very motherly and very compassionate. So what we do is if you have a person or somebody that's thinking of downsizing, decluttering, we have a free 1-hour consultation. No obligation, no cost. We just talk. We'll give you tips. So once somebody moves out of their home, then we help get it ready for sale. So we have a whole part of our team that gets that ready. Because the reason why we started doing this is a lot of our older clients said, oh man, you haven't seen my house. I don't want you to come over. Oh, my paint's peeling and the gutter's broken and the yard's too bad shape. Well, we help provide solutions there. The way we do that is we make a list. Once we visit, we say, these are the things we want to consider doing. Once we consider doing it, then we call our vendors, and Chris, our listing manager, he goes and coordinates all the vendors, gets you a written estimate. We get the written estimate, then we sit down with you and say, here's how much it costs to do this based on the scope of work that we talked about. Now, is that really worth it? Is it worth doing that? Based on selling it at this price, doing the work and selling it and getting this much money. But if we're going to do nothing and sell it here and put X amount of dollars in, but only get the same amount back, it might not make sense. It's really up to you, but we're going to be brutally honest with you if it's going to actually yield you a return or not, based on our experience. We're just in Manoa today, in fact, at 10 o'clock today, talking to one of our clients, and she's a wonderful woman. We love her dearly, and she's really caring, and she wants to make the place look good. The problem, though, is, you want to fix one little sink, but then, well, what about the floor and the paint and the windows? And then that one just started adding up so fast that I'm not sure if the math is going to make sense on the return. So that's the kind of conversation we're going to have, is some things are going to be worth it, some may not get the return. So as on a team approach, what my role is to create strategy. Identify who the target market is, create a strategy and plan, and then I oversee that plan through all of our team members, right? I utilize all the thousands of properties we've seen and over 1,000 transactions we've sold to help create that strategy. And then we have a listing management team, and their job is to coordinate getting it ready for sale. So coordinating the vendors and managing them, getting it ready for sale, managing the staging and photography and the global marketing. Their job is to sell the property, but also give you weekly feedback on what people are saying, right? Feedback is important, right? And then our chief, hey, look at that handsome bugger over there. It's Kaleo. Oh, I haven't seen you in a tie in a long time, Kaleo. You look much better without a tie. I kind of like you without a tie. Yeah, Kaleo is our chief negotiator. He's a licensed attorney. He's been doing this for, gosh, going on 3 years now. I don't know how many hundreds of transactions you've closed, but this guy is magical, right? And I'm not saying that because he's looking at me, but I witnessed it. I mean, he's frankly better than I am. So that's why I'd rather him do the job. He's super smooth and very smart. So what he does is he gets you the best price and best terms for you, right? He conducts all the due diligence with the buyer and the buyer's agent and the lender, right? We want to know the motivation of the buyer, right? We want to know the ability of the buyer to close on the transaction. So there's a series of questions he asks, and he gives that information to you. We just had a meeting today with 3 sisters, and he explained it, all the research that he did, and they're greatly appreciative because now they can make a good decision, right? And that's all we want to do is provide good information. You're the boss, and we just serve you, the client. Although we're going to coach you and guide you through from our experience, what we've seen. Totally your choice though. We're going to provide weekly feedback as well. So here's some fun pictures to look at. These are old homes that we had fixed up a little, right? A little curb appeal. Painting can make a huge difference, right? And painting doesn't, if it costs $10,000 to do it, but you can get $20,000 back, that might make sense, right? Kitchens, right? Kitchens are really important to the main decision maker. But we know who the real decision maker is, right? Yeah, that would be the wife. Anybody agree to that? I'm just curious in the chat what they're saying. But anyways, yeah, kitchens and baths. So this one got renovated, and see, today's buyer, they're busy, right? They both work. If they were to buy it, where are they going to live? If they can't live there, because they got to live there because that's what they're buying it. They have no place else to go. How do they fix it up? What we want to do is present it in a way that looks at least livable and appealing in the eye of the picture. Right? This bathroom on the top, same bathroom on the bottom, but we dressed it up with just a little glaze. Glaze that costs only $1,200, but we got $20,000 more for that. It's crazy, right? Because it doesn't look as bad in the photo, and we're able to drive more traffic to the property. Staging, part of Stage Hawaii services, can give you a feeling of where things will go and also give you nice color and energy. Marketing is our background. Julie and I, we have marketing background, and we don't do this. We hire for this. This is a professional photographer that comes in with professional equipment, drones and 360 videos in the works. What we do is we take that image and we blast it around the world to all the 350 websites, real estate related ones. So if I wanted to move forward, what would the next steps be? Well, you can execute this simple five-step strategy. One, you can do this on your own, or you can call us, we can help you. First you want to sit down and understand your situation, right? Your situation, what is it like today? Then you want to start thinking about what are the challenges with where you are today, right? What are the things that are dangerous to humbug, in that range, right? And then what are your goals for the future, right? And future meaning like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What are your goals for your family? And then we start learning about the different options, right? Like we talked about today. We can dive deeper in person in our strategy session to sit down and kind of explain the pros and cons with each one of those. Then kind of narrow it down and then maybe go on a tour with a couple of those. And then create a plan, which would include a timetable and the team that would surround you to help you get from where you are to where you want to go with as little stress as possible. See, nobody succeeds alone. We all need help. We all need a team of people around us to support us, people that have been before us, people who have seen things before us. Maybe people have seen other people go through this before. And so if you're curious about the process, just let us know. We'll let you talk to some clients that we've helped before. And then you can talk to some clients that are just at the retirement communities and see what their experience is like, right? And just understand what the next steps would be in the future could look like. So if you'd like, we can schedule a time. You can put in the chat box later. Just want a free strategy session. Okay? And the whole goal is to better understand your situation and help you create a strategy to move forward. And we spend a lot of time talking about family because family is important, and that's important to all of us. So we want to better understand your situation. In closing, we have a number of different organizations that create this complete solution. Obviously, the HARA team, we started 15 years ago, getting close to 1,100 transactions closed. And we help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. We have a large team. We created systems and processes to provide duplicatable, high-level results that we can, it's repeatable, meaning we can do that more times quickly at a really high level. Right? And then High Property Management, which is a property management firm. We have about close to 150 doors we manage for our clients, mainly who have investment properties. And we've taken a model out of Texas and we brought it to Hawaii because we travel the country looking for best practices. And we found a model that provides extreme level of service to our owners of the property, as well as the tenants. Stage Hawaii is a staging company we started, a couple years ago, mainly because staging is expensive, $3,000 to $5,000 a shot, and then another $500 for every few months after that, typically. And we really believe that it works, so we just thought, well, what if we could do it cheaper? What if we could do it just for our clients and do it as a service and maybe cut the margins down so thin that it would make sense? And that's what we did. So our staging, as compared to $3,000, ours is just like $1,900 of that type of service. So Stage Hawaii, and Tiffany is amazing at it. She's on our team as well, on the buyer agent side as well. Senior Move Managers, again, 10 years old with Declutter Hawaii, helping people downsize and declutter. Lastly, Silver Spoons is our nonprofit designed to take care of older adults who cannot take care of themselves. We've been in this business for a long time, and we serve mostly the people with means, right? People with real estate, people who own things. But believe it or not, there's over 16,000 older adults living in state-subsidized housing that the state has been calling us to help them clear out their stuff because they have no money to clear it out, nobody to help them. And so we're called by the Office of Public Guardian, the Elderly Affairs Division, the Adult Protective Services to help these individuals. See, Julie and I, we really believe we've been completely blessed to be able to be in this industry to serve these people. But I believe that we're not here to serve only the wealthy, not only the people with means, it's everyone, right? The human race. And this is a hard thing for us to do. So if you have any time treasures or talents, we would love to talk to you about being part of Silver Spoons with us. Yeah, and that's our nonprofit, right? So we've got a number of webinars this month, right, Khalil?
Yeah, a couple more coming up just this month. On the 18th, we have Selling in Uncertain Times. We've run that one a couple times already, right? Pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
On the 20th, we have the 5 biggest mistakes veteran and military homeowners make. On the 25th, Building Wealth through 1031 Exchange. And if you are an investor or have investment properties, you're definitely going to want to see this one. And on the 27th, 10 Steps to Buying a Home. And right now, you know, the interest rates are as low as they've ever been. So if you're thinking about buying or investing in real estate, I would definitely check out this webinar. It is a great time to get into the market.
And for the lady that came on and said her sister that had part ownership, she should probably come to the 1031 Exchange.
Yeah.
She can just click on it on her phone, on her couch, on her laptop. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it would be a good one to come to.
Yep. Yeah.
And so this is our agents. So this is just the agent side of our business. We have an entire support team also that's larger than our agent count that is there to provide high level services, and they do the systems that we built to take care of our clients at a high level. You know, our mission really is to honor God by serving others with the highest level of competency, care, and compassion with uncompromising integrity. And that's just the motto that we have for all of our businesses.
All right. Well, as we wrap up, thank you guys very much for attending. If you'd like to sign up for a free strategy session, go ahead and let us know in the chat box. That's one way. You know, we have our contact information towards the bottom over there. You see a nice picture of Dan and Julie on the right-hand side. Our cell phones are over there. You know, if you could give us feedback, it would be greatly appreciated at the link on the screen. And of course, As we just mentioned, our webinars, our upcoming webinars, you can visit our iharateamhawaii.kw.com website to check those out. And we will keep updating those as the months go on. And our virtual walkthroughs. You can check out our virtual walkthroughs on our Ihara Team website as well. That's kind of new, right?
Yeah, we started doing this when COVID hit. So we were one of the first to do virtual open houses. Then we did virtual walkthroughs for all of our listings. For those who are not comfortable or maybe a little sensitive, then you can bring your house into the home for you. And by the way, anybody on the call, if you see a property out there that you want to get into, but you really, you shouldn't because of your health or what have you, or just not comfortable, let us know. We can do a virtual walkthrough for you. And any home, it doesn't have to be our own. It could be any home that's on the market. I'm not going to go to my neighbor's house, but I'll go into any home that's on the market.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, this is new. So yeah, this is what we like. Carrie, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of like how to stay engaged with us. Karen, you had a great comment, this understanding your situation and talking with your significant other, right? And so if you have somebody that you want to share this information with and sit down at home and just kind of talk through, sometimes it's hard it was a lot of information. We have these recordings on Facebook, on our website as well. So we wanted to let you know, hey, just all you need to do is follow us, share the information, and sit down and have that conversation. The next slide will show our website, iharateamhawaii.kw.com. The links are in the chat box. You can just click on the link, takes you there, and save that to your web browser so that you can stay connected with us. And before we run, okay, I have an answer for you. So we do have a look at some floor plans for Arcadia specifically in this situation. They do have studios. They have what's called an alcove, a little one size bigger, and then the one bedrooms. And so your question was about one bedrooms. You're looking at a square footage from a small to maybe a corner large, from about 735 square feet to 938.
Bigger than I thought. I forgot.
They're actually, and those alcoves, which is a step down, is actually a really good size for a single person to go in there. Yeah. And just to stay connected, we had our number to best connect. If you wanted to chat further with our team for a consultation, give us a call. Number's 808-798-5549. And best thing to do to get on the calendar, if you had any questions, you can email me directly at carrief@iharateam.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, and if you felt that this brought value to you, I'm wondering if it would bring value to others. And if you feel that way, please share it. Go to our Facebook page and please share it, like it, and just let people know around you. You could even email these links as well. But yeah, our goal is to provide valuable information for people that can help them through the journey of life, right? And this is a part of life that's the senior portion. This is a challenging part. This is the hardest part, right? And because we have the experience and knowledge and team and systems behind it, we can help. And we can make that process much easier, much smoother, because we're not just realtors. I hope you get that. Real estate is one thing we do, but it's really about the journey of life that we take. Is how do we take care of that human being from where they are to where they want to go, and what are all the challenges that they're going to face. If you can kind of look at our motto, is we've kind of removed those challenges because we found solutions to them. And we've done it a number of times that allowed us to learn better to provide that at a high level. So thank you all for coming and visiting. I'm hoping that was valuable. I think we're done. Is that right? Yeah, we are.
Anybody has any questions out there on Facebook, chat with us right now, chat with us on the Zoom. For those of you in the Zoom, like Dan said, no one succeeds alone. So there's a feedback link inside of the chat. We'd love for you to click it. It'll take you to a Google form. Let us know, what information was stuck out, was important to you. what maybe wasn't covered that you'd like to hear more about. We always want to better ourselves and bring more value to the community. So if there's something that you'd like Dan, you like Kaleo to speak about, let us know.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Hey, it was great. It was fun, enjoyable. Please let us know if we can serve you, or if you have any other questions, we're here for you. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks,
See you on the
everyone.
next one.